Hi guys, my name is Nicolette Mashile. I'm also known as the Financial Bunny. Welcome to the Financial Bunny TV. I'm really excited today because we're talking all things buying yourself a service stand and making sure that your dream home can really come into fruition. Of course, I'm not having this conversation by myself. I am joined by somebody who really understands the property industry, probably just a little bit better than most of us. And this is why we have this channel and this conversation. His name is Sean Campbell. He's at the forefront of one of the luxury developments that is on the upcome if you are driving towards your Krugersdorp area. Now, if you pass that casino that everybody knows about, just after that, you really will see some of the most beautiful houses popping up on the hill. And that's where you can start a life of your own and build a house you dream about every single day. Now, I want to get a little bit of information about Cradle Ridge. Sean, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nicolette.
Let's talk about Cradle Ridge. Where does Cradle Ridge come from? Why Cradle Ridge? Why on this such beautiful location?
Look, so we started Cradle Ridge Estate September 2019.
Mm-hmm.
We started the development. Mm-hmm. Now, there is a big market for full title land. Mm-hmm. Now, the problem in Gauteng is that you don't get a lot of these developments. The thing is specifically because land is expensive, and we had to divide it. But we thought against the cradle of humankind, we're going to do this development, and we've been successful. People love it. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. There's not a lot of stands still available. We're almost sold out. So if you want to buy, if you want to create dreams, memories, now is the time.
And I think that's the beauty about building, is that you get an opportunity to really just build what you have always dreamed about. Most of us don't really have a dream. We know what type of a house we want, right? But we always need to start somewhere. But that's the opportunity that building gives you, right?
Yeah, sectional title, nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, there you have limited options. Where with full title developments, you choose your own design. So you customize the house the way you want it. Tiles, the look and feel of the house, everything about it. 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, doesn't matter.
So I can add a pizza oven if I want.
Pizza oven, swimming pool, braai, jacuzzi, maid's quarters, pajama lounge, whatever you always wanted, now you can have.
There's that pajama lounge popping up again. Now we know we all just want a pajama lounge. If there is ever a destination that says I have arrived, is having a pajama lounge in your house. Now here's the thing, Sean, you've really just explained something that somebody's sitting on the outside and thinking, I work so hard, I literally need something that is going to not only make me happy as a person, but an asset that I can ultimately know that it's preserving funds or preserving my money. But we know that most people don't really understand the building process. I mean, personally, as Nicolette, I was telling people last week of how much money I've already put out without even buying a single brick. And that's because I'm building on my own. Tell me a little bit about some of the benefits of partnering with a developer like Central Developments, buying a service stand, and then being able to get in contact with other stakeholders that can help you.
So we as Central Developments have done all the service right from the beginning. So your roads, your boundary walls, security, all of that is in place. We've also vetted a few builders and architects that's on our panel, so we made sure you get value for money. It's not someone that's going to run away with your money. So we also went to have a look, what developments have they done? We spoke to some of the clients to find out, have these guys been on budget, have the quality been good? So you are in good hands. So even though we Central Developments are not building for clients, we sell the stands only. But our professional sales team on site will advise which builder and architect will suit you best according to your needs. Budget-wise, look-wise, stuff like that. But there is a few options. You don't only have 1 or 2 options. There is building plans on site that you can choose from, pre-designed, or you can do your own unique design.
Absolutely. So Sean, you said something, but you literally just brushed over it, which I think is actually a very big part of buying a service stand. And it's making sure the land is ready to build on. Because I am finding myself, I had to find a geotech report the other day because I'm building. And then they said to me, I need to connect to municipal water. I literally started shaking because I was like, why has this not been done already? So talk to me about that value proposition of literally walking into an estate that already has service land and it's already ripe for you to build.
So we are going green. We're in the year 2021. Hence, we as a developer have already done that. It's fiber ready. You don't have to do your water and electricity connections. It's prepaid water and electricity. Geotechnical reports have been done. We've tested the land. We've tested the ground. You don't have to worry about that. All have been tested. You can basically choose your stand, choose a builder, choose your architect, and they can start building. All of the rest, we've already sorted out. You don't have to stress about anything.
Talk to us about the different types of units or houses that one can actually build on this land.
So basically, we allow for a house of a minimum of 145 squares. So you can't build smaller than that.
Okay.
Then people will start putting up apartments, which we don't want. And then also, you have to at least have a double garage. You can't have a single garage in the estate. Then the maximum on a stand, you can do 50% of the stand size and then 80% on top of that 50%. Yes. So you can have a 3-4 bedroom house, but you do not have to build a small house and a big stand.
Yes.
So that's why there's so many options.
Yeah.
Also, when securing your stand, you've got 2 years to start building from registration.
Okay.
And then from when the 2 years has passed, you've got 1 year to complete the property.
Okay.
That's also just to make sure that you don't have someone building in the state 4, 5, 6 years from now.
Yeah, also I don't want to live on a construction site forever. You know what I mean?
And hence we've given that time frame because some people either want to get the finances to build the house cash, or they're a bit scared in the beginning. But now we've seen at Cradle Ridge Estate, because building has
already started,
people now get excited and they start to build. They don't see it as a risk.
All right, Sean. So you've touched on quite a number of bits that I really want us to get into. But maybe what we can do is to start the conversation from the beginning. So I arrive at Cradle Ridge, I sit with you in the sales office, and I now have an intention to buy. So what are you putting on offer for me?
So basically the first step, you have to choose a stand.
Okay.
So our stands range from 405 square meters, and the biggest one currently available is 630 square meters. So our first thing is we go and show the client all available options on the stand. It all depends on the needs, what size house they want to build. So that's the main thing, is to choose the stand. Then they can either buy the stand and build later, or if they want to start building immediately, we then give them the option of a building package.
Okay.
So we arrange the meeting between the builder, architect and the client as well. So they will first sign the offer to purchase on the land. We give them 60 days for bond approval in order to be able to sit with the builder and the architect to do the design up until they're happy, and then we can submit to the banks. And then the third option is, so we as a developer have built 9 houses in the beginning of the project. We've already sold 7 houses. So currently we only have 2 available houses. So if someone doesn't want to go through the whole building process, they can choose to buy a completed house.
Oh, nice. So there's already 2 houses that you could essentially just step into and move into immediately.
That's correct.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so I like what you've just said, because now you say, if I am ready to build, I buy the stand with a building package, then I sit with the architect and we design this house. Is there a framework of how I need to design my house?
Yes, so we have set up architectural guidelines in the beginning of the project.
Okay.
So this is to everyone's benefit, and then also to protect everyone. Because you don't want a red and a yellow and a pink and an olive green house in the state. Hence, we've stipulated the guidelines which must be adhered to. So once the architect have done the design, it gets submitted to our main architect for approval. Once he put his stamp on the plans, it goes to our HOA, and then if they approve, then you can submit to Mogale.
Okay. Are there costs to that?
Yes, so there is cost. So even before you start building, so there is a cost, so it's like a building deposit, that if any trucks or builders damage the roads or the curbs. Okay. If nothing is damaged when the house has been completed, we then refund part of the building deposit. So the scrutiny fee for the plans, to get back to your question, there is a fee payable in order for the architects then to scrutinize the plans, because they also put in all the effort to go through every single detail and to make sure the house is designed according to the architectural guidelines.
And I guess because you also want to get your plans approved as quickly as possible, so that they assist in facilitating that.
Yeah, we're also strict because as soon as your plans go to Mogale, You want to make sure everyone has checked it,
Yes.
it has been approved, so you know there's no hassle when you go to Magale to submit your plans.
Absolutely.
Because you don't want to go forward and back with approval of plans.
So when we talk about Magale, we're talking about the municipality,
That's
right?
correct.
Now, are you taking your plans to the municipality before you go to the bank?
No. Okay, so basically how it happens. So if you buy a stand with a building package, okay, so then I give you 60 days for bond approval. Okay, so that plan doesn't have to be the final plan.
Or for the bank?
For the bank, yes. It must just be, the squares must stay exactly the same, but you
Yeah.
can still, change some of the finish fittings. So
Yeah.
the banks require then a plan with the squares in order to know how much they need to finance.
I'm so glad you just said that, because in my head I'm sitting thinking, yeah, I'm paying for an architect to accept these things, and then the bank rejects my bond, and then I'm sitting there like, oh, I've now paid for the scrutiny fee without, of course. No. All right, makes sense. Okay, perfect.
So then once the bank's approved, then the architect can send the final plans to the HOA and to our architects for scrutiny and to approve.
But now you're applying for 2 different loans at the bank, right?
Yes, it is still 2 loans,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's actually 1 loan.
Yes.
So the transactions or the contracts is 2 different ones. So there's a contract on the stand and there's a contract
Which
on
is
the
a
building.
home loan.
So for example, let's say the stand is R1 million
Yeah.
and building cost is R2 million. You still apply for the full
3
amount, 3 million. But the stand has to register before building can commence. So as soon as the stand register, okay, then the bank keeps the R2 million on retention. So as the builder build, the bank will send the valuator. As soon as the valuator is happy, then they will release. So they call it a draw.
Yeah.
Okay, then the bank will then release funds to the builder in order to build further up until the house is completed.
Has there ever been an instance where one of your clients gets perhaps rejected when there's a building plan on board, but they can get, if they were to not apply for the full amount and apply just for the stand, get just the stand?
Yes, so you can just buy the land. So how it works, you can either pay the full amount, let's say the stand is R1 million,
Yes.
so you buy the stand cash and you can register. If you want to apply for a loan through the banks, the maximum the banks offer is 60% on vacant land. Doesn't matter if you work for the bank, doesn't matter which bank. So a maximum of 60%. So if it's R1 million, the banks will find at 600,000. So then the client must still pay the 400,000 rand.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And then if you bring it in the building package, is there possibility to get 100%?
Yes, yeah. Most of our clients got 100% bonds. So if it's a building package, then the bank doesn't see it as a risk anymore, and then they can give up to 100% bonds.
I mean, so it's what intention? It's more of
it's more. Look, in the past, there is builders that just ran away with clients' money.
Yeah.
So also the banks got clever, and this is also to protect the clients and the bank itself.
Yeah.
So they still see vacant land as a risk.
Yes.
So you can buy the land, they find it's 100%, and it's just,
it just sits there. Sits there. Yeah, it's not an asset. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So, but with the building package, the bank knows that there is going to be building that's going to be erected. And hence they're giving the 100% bond.
It is an asset correction. It's just not an asset that can probably make you money. So to pay back the bank would be a bit difficult if you just have land, right?
Yes.
All right. So Sean, okay, granted. Now the bond has been approved with a building package, 3 million, as we've using the example that you've given us. Now, what gets registered at the deeds office? Your land first.
So it's only the stand or the land that gets registered, not the house.
Yes.
So there's one registration that will be the land into the owner's name.
Yes.
Okay. So if it's with a building package, from registration, the buyer or the purchaser is then liable to pay back the bond on the R1 million, even though building hasn't commenced, as well as your levies, because there's still security, there's still maintaining of the communal area. So your levy is payable and rates and taxes as well. So that is payable from registration. We always tell clients, we know it's difficult to pay for something you haven't used yet, but you're going to suffer maybe for 6 or 7 or 8 months while the house is being built. Up until it's completed, then you're going to enjoy it for the rest of your life.
All right. So Sean, then what happens with the title deeds? Do they split the title deed? Because if you get registered, just explain that.
So you will get a title deed on the land.
On the land
On
first.
the land. So, however, if the purchaser, the house has been built, he's been staying here for 3 years.
Yes.
If he then sells the property,
Yes.
so obviously the new purchaser the house will register in
Also
that
in
purchaser's
it.
name. So then the title deed will be for the house, not on the land.
Oh, that's a bit tricky.
Yeah, but I mean, it's vacant land. So
Yes.
you can't register, they can't build on a house if the stand hasn't registered.
Yes.
That's why the stand registered in the client's
Yes.
name. Yeah. So also on your rates and taxes. So on vacant land, your rates and taxes is a bit more expensive.
Yeah.
Up until the house being completed, then it's less.
Because it's calculated on square meter.
Yes.
That is, I've never thought of that.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting, hey?
But look, also clients that come on site, we explain every single detail.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot,
Yeah.
but it's not really. Look, we work with this every single day,
Yeah.
so for us it's like our bread and butter, but it's not that difficult at all. It's easy explainable, and we
Yeah.
do explain that to the client. So we're here to take them through the whole process. So don't
Yes.
have to worry about us not giving them some specific details.
Yeah.
We explain every single detail.
Perfect. Okay, so now your land is registered. You're paying levies towards the upkeep and the maintenance and the safety of the stand. There's a deposit that you've also put down to make sure that if anything, your trucks and all of that, if they damage anything, there's already. So these are not costs that are going to pop up at you at the end, right? So you already kind of plan for them from the beginning. Talk to me about now. You said that the bank retains the building amount and it will come out in tranches as the contractor is building. I've also heard about something called a schedule or a finishing schedule.
Yeah, that's
something.
part of your building contract.
Okay.
So when you do a building contract, there's a few documents that the client will complete with the builder.
Mm-hmm.
So there has to be the building contract where they then agree to the amount and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you've got your building contract, your schedule of finishes. So if building cost is 2 million,
Okay.
your schedule of finishes is basically a breakdown
Of the 2 million.
of the 2 million.
Aha.
For example, 100,000 is allocated for tiles,
Yes.
150 for cupboards, 500,000 building costs, stuff like that. So that's why the bank wants to see, why is the builder charging
Charging
the
you
client
2 million.
2 million rand, hence they ask for schedule of finishes. Your floor plan as well, okay? And then there's some other few documents that the bank require. They call it the waiver of lien documents, which you also complete. Okay.
Yes.
So we as a developer, our preferred bond originator is EOF. It's part of our company. They submit on the client's behalf to the banks.
Yeah.
Okay, so we then also indicate to the client what documents is required. The builders on our panel already knows as well what is needed in order for us to submit to the banks. So as soon as we send the documents to EOF, our bond originator, our preferred bond originator, we can see exactly what is still outstanding or if all the documents have been completed correctly.
Sean, okay, I'm going to give you two different scenarios of problematic areas that quite a number of people will think about, right? The first one is this idea of people saying if you are building, because we always do, we YouTubers love doing a build versus buy, right? Now, when you're building, one of the things that people always worry about is that you're always going to have to pay something out of pocket. But you're saying there's a schedule of finishes and the breakdown is there. Are there ever instances, and who would be responsible for that, of paying out of pocket?
Okay, I want to just take it 2 steps back.
Okay.
When you buy the land,
Yes.
okay, there is transfer and bond cost.
Yes.
Okay, payable. So our preferred bond originators, which are EOF, and then our attorneys is VDT attorneys.
Okay.
So we've got a special rate through our attorneys.
Okay.
So if you buy the stand cash, it's 13,000 for the transfer fee.
Uh-huh.
If it's a transfer and a bond, it's 16,794 rand.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So that's the one fee a client has to pay.
Is that standard across all sizes?
That's standard. It doesn't matter what size, how you're going to build, what size the land will be.
Yeah.
That's a standard fee.
Okay.
For all the land,
Okay.
all the purchases. Okay. So that's the one fee. So then when the stand registers, the client is liable to pay the bond under stand price,
Yes.
okay, as well as the levy of
levies.
1,500 and then your rates and taxes.
Uh-huh.
Okay. With the building, so that's why it's a building contract.
Yes.
Okay. So the client and the builder agrees to a certain amount.
Okay.
Okay. But there can be instances where, let's say for example, the builder allocates 100,000 rand for tiles.
Yes.
But the client goes and chooses a more expensive tile. Let's say it's 120,000.
Yes.
Then the client then has the option to pay the builder additional 20,000 rand in order to go and purchase that tile.
Yeah.
But other than that, there won't be additional cost.
Okay. I think that's quite an important one, because I think it's important for all of us to understand that if you are going to make changes to what you had agreed on with the building contractor in the contract, then whatever over and above, if you come back and you're like, actually, I don't like these curtain rails, I want something a little bit more expensive, it's something that you would need to pay out of your pocket. All right, perfect. That's the one part of it. Now, I've kind of forgotten the second part of the problematic area of what it is, but it will come to me as we are speaking.
Look, the other thing is, sorry to interrupt, Nicolette. Let's say, for example, the builders allocate 100,000 rand for tiles.
Yes.
But you choose a tile that's worth 80,000. Then you've got a 20,000 rand surplus to use maybe for more expensive kitchen cupboard or something like that as well.
Yes.
So, and then also, that 2 million rand, we use that example for the building cost.
Yes.
So let's say the builder does 4 draws. So they will build to a certain level. The bank, let's say, releases 500,000. So then the client will pay the bond on the land and then the first 500,000.
Yes.
Okay. So as the bank releases money, the client is liable to pay the bond on that certain amount.
Oh, that's quite interesting also.
Yes. So that's why we always say this will maybe be the most difficult 7 to 9 months of your life.
Yes.
Not really, but you're going to pay for something you haven't moved into.
And as things are changing, you may pay more.
But that's that short time period, and then you'll have your house and you'll pay for your dream house. So
now we've obviously experienced something like COVID, and we know that it slowed down quite a number of industries, and those kind of instances sometimes do happen. For instance, this price of steel can change while you are in between building. Is it then advisable for the client to always maybe have a buffer pack? I don't know how do you mitigate that type of a thing?
So basically, as we stand, so as steel and prices do go up, so the building packages the builders offer as well, it will say from. So it all depends on the price and the standard client builds, and also depends on the current building cost.
Yes.
But if the client and the builder has agreed to a certain amount, now the builder can't come and say to the client, listen, you owe me 200,000 rand, for example. Because the bank also finances that specific amount. But when the client and the builder and the architect meet, the client will most of the time give the architect like a wish list, what they do want, as well as the budget, and then the architect will work in that frame of budget as well as design. And then the builder will be honest to say, listen, I've used to build, let's say, for 10,000 a square, now I'm building at 10,500 rand a square because prices did go up.
Okay, I mean, that's quite smart. Oh, yes, so this is the other thing that I wanted to find out, that because you guys, as Central Developments, naturally our first thought is that you would be developing, right? But on this specific estate, you are not necessarily developing, but you have a relationship with the guys that you guys are contracting or are suggesting to your clients. Because that's the other thing that pops up, is that somebody will say, but I just found out my builder is not NHBRC compliant, or the architect was not a SAPNA, SAPNA?
Subcontract.
The architect has to be, what registration is the compliance? SAPNA, I think it's one of those. And so is that something that your clients can really trust and believe in? Because those are people that are... Because my first contact is Central Development. It's not these contractors, it's not the architects.
So we don't have a relationship with the builders, but that's why we vetted them in the beginning of the project, because at the end of the day, it's still Central Development's name on the line. So we didn't use any builder or any architect. Okay. So we still have many people that would like to come onto our panel, but that process has been completed. Okay, so clients can still use their own builder. Okay.
It feels almost like you did a tender system, right? Where you get these panels.
You make it sound like the government.
So you gotta, but what I like about it.
But that was also to, because we as a developer are not building for clients. That's why we had to do that. Because we had many people that saw us coming up and wanted to be on the panel. You know, when you start this process, everyone can build the best. Everyone is the best.
Of course.
But we had to see for ourselves. That's why we were very strict with the, I call it the vending system and process, to make sure, these guys are going to be the best option for our clients.
And I like what you just said, because ultimately, at the end of the day, my first contact is with Central Developments. So even though it's such a weird thing, because even though I know mentally that it's not Central Development building for me, I still expect that similar standard.
Exactly.
I think it's a human nature. So tell me, Sean, before we wrap up, what other issues have you guys, come across that people may not understand about this entire building process?
So look, the main thing is also your building lines, because that's part of your architectural guidelines. And that's easy to explain. Like I said, if a stand is 405 square meters, you can only build ground level 50% of the stand size, and then 80% on top of that. There's also building lines, because you don't want the houses to be on top of each other.
Yes.
So building line is basically 3 meters from the boundary or from the road, and then 2 meters from the side.
And also not blocking each other's views, because
Exactly.
I'm going to
Your
fight.
balconies also can only face either north or whatever. Okay, but that's all stipulated in the architectural guidelines.
Yes.
Because you don't want your privacy to be invaded as well.
Yes.
Okay. Color schemes, look and feel. Yeah. You can do swimming pools, stuff like that. The main thing is you can't go higher than 9 meters. Because you don't want a guy building,
this massive house, and we're all now getting the sun blocked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the architectural guidelines have been created for everyone's benefit.
Yeah.
Because also you don't want the value of the property.
Yeah.
To decline because of someone that doesn't adhere to the architectural guidelines. So we are also very strict. We also go and check the building. And people can't then also move away from the architectural guidelines because then we can then also refuse then to issue an occupational certificate.
And what makes this location perfect?
So basically, it is close to the N14.
Absolutely.
Lanceria.
Absolutely.
Pinehaven Hospital. The Cradlestone Mall. And then
you can walk to Cradlestone
exactly.
Mall.
And then you can walk to Silver Star Casino.
Please don't. Yes.
So that's the main thing.
Yeah.
And because of the views.
Yes.
So you've got the mountain in the back.
Yeah.
And that's what people love.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. The greenery, the mountains, you can see the cradle of humankind.
Yeah.
So that's why people love this.
Yeah.
And also it feels like you're outside of the city.
Absolutely.
But you've still got all the amenities very close by.
And talk to me about security, because I think also the other thing that confuses people a lot is when people think full title, they think I'm responsible for everything. But you guys we're here within an enclosed estate.
Exactly.
So talk to us about the safety.
So basically sectional title, then the body corporate is responsible of maintaining the outside of the buildings and like the lawns. The only difference here is the owner is responsible for the maintenance of the outside of the property as well as the outside of the property. Your
own property.
Exactly.
Yes.
But each person still pays, or each owner still pays 1,500 levy.
Yeah.
So that goes towards the upkeeping of the communal areas, like your play park, your gardens in front of the estate, the security gate, the boundary wall, the roads, stuff like that. It's electricity for the street lights, your electric fencing on the perimeter as well. So the levy is lower.
I was about to say, you just caught my eye because I'm paying 3.6.
It's 1,500 a month. People can't believe it. Also, exactly. So we've also haven't done a clubhouse, which a lot of people ask for. And our explanation is simple. Do you really need a clubhouse?
Not
where you can
not
do
in a
your own
house like
swimming
this.
pool?
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And how many times a year would you use a clubhouse?
Nah, it's not.
Exactly.
It's,
And then
it's going to be an additional cost.
So everyone in South Africa's main priority is safety and security.
Absolutely.
Okay. Hence, we've chosen the best possible option with security. And also on our perimeter, it's a double perimeter.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Nice, yeah.
With cameras, your normal floodlights. So you've got a brick wall and you've got clear view. Clear view, so you can easily see if someone wants to break in, and they're both electrified as well. With patrolling guards and then guards stationed at the guardhouse.
Absolutely. And I don't think there's anybody who does not have a reason to come and buy themselves a service stand at Cradle Ridge and really do build your dream home. Thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you,
It's been an
Nicolette.
absolute pleasure speaking to you.
Can't wait to meet everyone.
Yes, they're going to come. I can't wait. Guys, I want to be your neighbor. So don't be sketchy. Make sure you build 9 meters only, please. Thank you very much for tuning in. And remember that nothing that is said on this channel constitutes as financial advice. If you are looking for financial advice, please do speak to somebody who is certified and registered with the FSA. And remember that if you are looking for any type of property information, do tune in to Centered Around Property, brought to you by Central Developments.